We'll start the process with the cat removal. We don't want him to be white. And this is how you guys might end up looking after you sand a lot of patches. But it looks really good now, and that was the goal.
Hi guys, today I will show you how to patch small damage and holes in the drywall. As you can see, we have some minor damage right here. This piece is loose all the way around, and we got some small holes from the nails and screws. And in general we have some deficiencies from previous patching. To patch our holes we'll be using the DryDex. This thing goes on pink and dries white. Besides that, we'll need different types of putty knives, different sizes, and I'll use the utility knife to cut out the damage. So I will start with that. First of all, I will peel off all loose pieces like this. I will use the utility knife to cut all around the damage. This way it won't peel anymore. Carefully remove all loose pieces like this. They should come off fairly easy. And since this is loose as well, I will remove it as well. There is a paint line right here which can be scraped with our putty knife like this. The idea again is to remove all the loose pieces and make the surface flat. So basically in this case repeat the same way. And again start peeling. The top layer of the drywall should come off on its own. In areas where you see these nail holes, you simply can use this end of the putty knife to push it in like this. Again, it will allow us to fill it properly without sticking out. We have areas where we have paint drops like this. Again, we use the putty knife to make it smooth. The previous patching in this closet is not even, it stands out towards us. That's why I'll again use putty knife to lightly push it in. May need to scrape it as well. Same with this guy. Don't worry about creating this damage to the drywall, because we will start filling it shortly. Now it's time for filling. I will be using these two putty knives right now because this area is quite big. So basically get some of the DryDex, and it's always best to use two putty knives. This way you can take some from this one. So I'll carefully remove some of the DryDex, and I'll start with this large piece. You have to kind of press and apply some pressure to make sure that some of the DryDex actually sticks out, and simply carefully start applying the DryDex any excess amount of DryDex can go back onto the putty knife, and we can add some more. It doesn't have to be perfect at this stage. Our idea is to cover the damage, and in the end I will just lightly go over it and remove any excessive amount of the DryDex. Where you see these edges, it means that you may want to add a little bit more over there, and then again just lightly remove the excess. Right now, where we have smaller holes, I may use different size with the putty knife. Again, when you do it, press so that some of the DryDex comes out, and then you can remove the excessive amount of DryDex on the sides. This way you won't have to sand all this. There will be less amount to sand, and you are saving some DryDex for future use. Keep going until you fill all the holes. Again, as you can see, I'm removing the extra amount. Same with this one. And with this hole, same idea. Push it in. Make sure it goes in all the way, and when you push it, it will some amount will actually stick out like this. And since I have these lines here, I will fill them as well, lightly. Now I will switch to this putty knife again, the medium one in our case, to get some more. And don't forget to always close the lid, otherwise it will start drying. And again we'll start filling this big hole right here, this damage. First, roughly apply the DryDex. Like this, then we can go sideways. And pretty much these areas are done now. I will continue with all minor dents and holes all around the wall. It's in pretty rough shape right now, but the goal of this video is to show you guys roughly how it's done. And as I said, now we'll wait till it all dries, and we'll show you how to sand it. It has been a couple of hours since we patched everything. Some of the compound is now dry, but deeper holes like this are still pink, which means we have to wait. You will also notice that some of the deeper holes may absorb more of the compound, like here and above. In this case, we actually may add a little bit more, like this. Minor dents and scratches normally take about 2 hours to dry completely, but the deeper one can take anywhere from 5 hours to a full day. Our patches are now dry. I ended up putting another coat on top of these bigger areas where we had the most damage. This is how it looks now. And in general, as you can see, I had to do a lot of patching in this closet. As I said, it was in a pretty rough shape. And right now I will show you how to sand the patches. If you sand a small area, a face mask like this is completely enough. If you guys work on a bigger project, like this closet for example, you can also use this respirator. This is our sanding sponge. It has two sides, the fine side and the medium grit. I will use both. I will start with the medium grit first and then finish it off with the fine grit. We'll start the process with the cat removal. We don't want him to be white. And I'll start with this big patch here. Again, this is the rough side. So I will lightly go over the edges first, all around. Just be careful here because these two patches overlap with each other. Again, lightly apply a little bit more pressure. As you can see, it's starting to smooth out. Basically, go all around first. To make sure the edge is smooth. Again, I'm varying the pressure on the sponge. Very light here. A little bit more over here. So once the edge is smooth, now I will start working on the middle section. Light pressure. We're just removing all the rough edges. And from time to time I just check with my hand to see if we have any more rough spots, like here. Once all the rough areas are gone, I will switch to the smooth grit, fine grit, and I will lightly go over the patch again. I'm almost not pressing right now. Sometimes when you put too much mud, there may be a small budge in the middle. Again, you can control it by swiping your hand over the patch. If you still feel it, again, go lightly over. Once you're satisfied with the result, you can keep going and sand the rest of them. I will quickly do this one again. The idea is very similar. I will start on the edges first. This is the rough side. It removes the mud very quickly, and then I'll do the fine side. Kind of go over the whole patch now. And the idea is not to over sand it either. So once you start seeing these wall pieces appearing in the patch, that's probably enough. Also, even if you over sand the patch, it's not the end of the world. You can always add a little bit more mud, and you can, after the first coat of paint, for example, you can check them again, and if you want to make them better, you can apply another layer of DryDex. This guy is very simple. I will also quickly show you guys how to deal with these edges when you have mud in the corner. All you have to do is just put the sponge like this, and it will do the job for you. You might want to switch it this way. And again, I'll proceed. Again, I'm working more on the edges first. The middle I can do afterwards, and as you can see now it's starting to look good. There's a bit of a bulge here, so I will again go over the middle part. And yes, looks pretty good now. This is how you do the corners.
And this is how you guys might end up looking after you sand a lot of patches. But it looks really good now, and that was the goal.
We have cleaned everything up, and I'll show you again the patches that we finished. They're very smooth now, no more damage and holes. As I said before, I had to do a lot of them in this closet. Normally you don't need to go crazy in the closets, but I decided to make it look good, so now after we paint it, it will look really nice. That's it for our video today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please consider subscribing to the channel, and we will also try to make a video how to paint this closet, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.